Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I want to explore pain and physical symptoms from a place of actually feeling pretty ropey today, to be honest, which is ironic, isn't it, that I'm doing a talk about physical symptoms on a day when I'm not feeling so good. But perhaps that's just perfect, actually, because it opens up the conversation, doesn't it, of my experience of my health right now. Because I don't know how much of what I'm experiencing is coming from the physiology of my body and how much is coming from my thinking about it. You just never know, do you? So this morning I've got a bit of a headache. I just feel a bit meh. Anybody else ever experienced just feeling a little bit meh? But what I do notice is that I don't feel so caught up in doom and gloom about it as I probably would have done in the past. So I probably would have been, oh no, what's wrong with me? And I would have needed to know. I mean, that's one of the fundamental things about my initial experience of an off day is wanting to know what it was, where it's come from, what's wrong with me. And, you know, if you've listened to me very much, you might know that, you know, in the last few years I've had, you know, recovering from adrenal fatigue. I have underactive thyroid, and I'm going through the menopause too. In fact, I'm officially post-menopausal as of Friday. And I've got a frozen shoulder. I've had a frozen shoulder for a year too. So I've had a lot of physical things going on, but I've definitely noticed that my experience of them has been changing. And I think the interesting thing about your physical body is that it's knowing that it's just knowing that there is something to do with how you're thinking and your perspective and how much awareness you're giving a particular symptom. That's all that's really needed, really, because I don't think we can know. When I think about it, and that's why I'm kind of almost stilted this morning, is because when I think about it, you know, when you think about the size of the universe and it's so expansive that you can't get your head around it. Am I just the only one who thinks like that? I don't think I am. There's this space that I can't know whether I am having a better experience because of looking in this direction of my physical symptoms, or my physical symptoms have reduced. I really can't know. But one of the places where I saw this really clearly was a couple of years ago, probably about a year ago, actually. I was working with a functional medicine doctor, Dr. Indra, and we were talking about my symptoms, and I mentioned that I had a headache, or had a lot of headaches. Now, at that point, I had attributed those headaches to the menopause. I just thought it was part of I'd read that menopausal women could have headaches, and I just thought it was part of that. But then she said, well, have you looked up histamine foods? I didn't know anything about histamine foods. Here's a bit of learning for you about histamine foods, folks, because histamine is a substance that is in lots of different foods. Now, as soon as I looked up histamine and headaches, and I discovered that kombucha, which is a drink that we are encouraged to drink to improve our gut bacteria, is very high in histamine. So basically, I was drinking kombucha every single day and poisoning myself is the crux of the matter. That's what I was doing every day, drinking kombucha and poisoning myself. Because kombucha is very high in histamine. So I had these headaches, but what I noticed about the headache was, on an average day, that headache would come and go. Now, did the physiology of my head change as I went through the day? Did it come and go and come and go and come and go, like multiple times? Or was it that when my attention was on something else, I didn't notice the headache? When I wasn't thinking about it, when my awareness was elsewhere, I didn't experience it. And I've noticed that too with the frozen shoulder that I've had. I'm not so much in pain with the frozen shoulder now, but in the early days, like this time last year, it was agony, and it was interesting again to see how the pain kind of came and went. Even though the pain was the injury to the shoulder or whatever was wrong with the shoulder. It's not really an injury, frozen shoulder. It's a funny one. But that was coming and going throughout the day, noticing it and then not noticing it. And I imagine that you've let me know if you've experienced that too, where you know there's an injury, there's a break, or there's something physically wrong, but that your experience of that really does come and go. And pain and physical symptoms are so interesting because, they say that with pain in particular, that if it's been around and become chronic, it's kind of got stashed away in a bit of your brain that can't let it go. It's almost become a bit embedded. It doesn't necessarily mean there's still an injury there, but there may still be pain that's coming from our minds rather than from our physical body. I guess what I would say is that over the last couple of years, whilst I've been exploring more and more how my psychological system works and looking deeper and deeper and noticing how lots of things about the outside world and my own emotional state have changed, that alongside that, there's been just a general better experience of myself physically. And as I say, I don't know whether I've got better, physiologically got better, or whether it's my perspective that's changed, thought in the moment, less awareness on it, whatever, or a bit of both. Probably the third one. Because I have been doing some things in the physiological world to try and help my body be healthier. But who knows? It's just very interesting to me. So the only thing I can say is that keep looking in this direction, because I just think when we really know that our experience of life is coming from thought in the moment all the time, all day, every day, no matter whether it's the experience of our physical body or an experience of another person or an experience of an outside circumstance, all those things, we can't experience life but except through our thinking, our perspective, thought in the moment. That's just how it works. And this is not pointing to you need to change your perspective on this at all. But once you know, different things make sense to do. Like one of the things for me is, just before I did this live, I had a massive hot sweat, which I just thought was quite funny because I was about to do a live about physical symptoms and my body went, oh, physical symptom, would you like one of those? So I had a hot sweat and I found myself actually laughing about it, which I know is not maybe normal, but I found myself laughing about it because I just thought how funny that I'm about to talk about it, and here I am going, excuse me, being on fire. It is like somebody's put a torch in there, well, a hot flame torch, not like a light bulb torch, but somebody's torched the middle of your body, and you are on fire. But I find myself laughing a lot more about these things. If I'm in a low mood, I know it's going to pass and it's not the end of the world and I'll be okay and I can have a cry and it'll be fine. So just, it's an area where I'm still seeing. I've still got more to see, I think. So yeah, let me know what you think and keep exploring always. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.